The silence in an empty room, a table set for one, the absence of familiar voices. For many, these scenarios evoke a deep-seated fear, the fear of being alone. This fear is not about physical solitude, but about the emotional and social implications of being disconnected. We live in a world that glorifies busyness and connection. Social media feeds us a constant stream of curated lives, making it easy to feel like we're missing out. This constant comparison amplifies our fear of being left behind, of not being enough. But the truth is, our fear of being alone runs much deeper than social pressures. It's rooted in our very biology, in the fundamental human need for belonging. Understanding this primal instinct is the first step in confronting our fear and embracing the transformative power of solitude. Our ancestors relied on strong social bonds for survival. Hunting, gathering, and defending against predators were all communal activities. Being ostracized from the group meant losing access to resources and protection, essentially a death sentence. This evolutionary history is etched into our DNA. Our brains are wired to seek out connection and interpret social isolation as a threat. When we're alone, our bodies release stress hormones like cortisol, triggering feelings of anxiety and fear. This doesn't mean we're destined to live in a perpetual state of fear. Just as our brains are wired for connection, they're also capable of adaptation and growth. By understanding the biological basis of our fear, we can begin to challenge its grip and cultivate a healthier relationship with solitude. Solitude can be both a source of anxiety and a wellspring of creativity. On the one hand, prolonged isolation can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. Without regular social interaction, our mental and emotional well-being can suffer. On the other hand, intentional solitude can be incredibly beneficial. When we create space for ourselves, we give our minds permission to wander, to process emotions, and to connect with our inner voice. This can lead to increased self-awareness, improved problem-solving skills, and a greater sense of clarity. The key difference lies in intentionality. Forced isolation is often experienced as negative and detrimental, while chosen solitude can be empowering and transformative. It's about finding the right balance for our individual needs and learning to appreciate the value of both connection and solitude. Our fear of being alone is further fueled by societal norms and expectations. From a young age, we're taught that being alone is something to be avoided. We're encouraged to be social butterflies, to fill our calendars with activities, and to define ourselves by our relationships with others. This cultural narrative perpetuates the myth that solitude equals loneliness. It shames us for wanting to spend time alone and creates pressure to constantly be surrounded by people, even if those connections aren't meaningful. This stigma can be particularly damaging for introverts and those who simply thrive in quieter environments. It's time we challenge these outdated notions and create a culture that values both social connection and the importance of solitude. One of the biggest misconceptions surrounding solitude is that it's synonymous with loneliness. While the two can overlap, they are fundamentally different experiences. Loneliness is a negative emotional state characterized by a lack of connection and a longing for companionship. It's a feeling of emptiness and isolation that can occur even when surrounded by people. Solitude, on the other hand, is a state of being alone without feeling lonely. It's a deliberate choice to disconnect from external distractions and to connect with oneself. Solitude is about finding peace and contentment in our own company. Embracing solitude requires us to redefine our relationship with being alone. It's about shifting our perspective from fear to curiosity, from seeing solitude as a punishment to embracing it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Solitude is not simply about being alone, it's about using that time intentionally. It's about creating space for self-reflection, for exploring our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and for connecting with our deepest selves. In the silence, we can begin to hear our own voice, the one that's often drowned out by the noise of everyday life. We can gain clarity on our values, our passions, and our purpose. We can cultivate self-compassion and learn to appreciate our own company. The benefits of solitude extend far beyond personal growth. Studies have shown that spending time alone can boost creativity, improve focus and concentration, and even strengthen our relationships with others. When we take the time to recharge and connect with ourselves, we show up as our best selves in all areas of our lives.